So I'm going to be showing you how to remove double cap rivets with this Japanese rivet removal tool. And the first thing we're going to do is pick which circle here matches most closely the diameter of the double cap rivet that I want to remove. And if I look through this here, I could see that the second one in is my best match. So I'm going to hold that in place. And then I'm going to take the strike post here, center it on my double cap rivet cap, and strike it with the mallet. And then you could see there that the rivet just falls off. So the way that this tool is working is it's just cutting a hole straight through the center of the stem in order to break the bond on the rivet. Okay, so that's how you use this rivet removal tool. The tools that we are going to be using are just 2 sets of pliers. They don't necessarily have to be different sizes. And either a larger angle cutter that you can get at the hardware store, and or a smaller angle cutter that I got at a hobby store that's for jewelry making. So those are the essential tools you'll need to cut out a rivet that was set wrong. So just an overview, we're going to be taking the rivets out of this backpack strap because it should look like this with this piece of leather set to the back of it instead. And it was accidentally sent to the front of the strap. So this is what we want it to look like, and this is what it looks like now. So we're going to take these 2 rivets out. So we're going to go in first with the 2 pliers and just grab either of the leather pieces. Grab both of them, and I'm just going to tug them and try and pull them apart a little bit. Try and get the rivet to pull apart a little bit so that I can get access to the post and get the angle cutters in there in order to cut the post. You gotta tug it kind of hard sometimes too. So sometimes you can get it to separate, which we did a little bit here, and sometimes you can't too much, so you'll see what you can work with. And then I'm gonna go ahead and grab the angle cutters, and this is a pretty dangerous tool, so just be really careful when you're using it because you're using really sharp tools and you're really using a lot of force. So make sure that your hand isn't on the other side of this when you're using it. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and pick a side of my project where I don't care as much if the leather gets a little chewed up from the angle cutters here. So I know that this part of the leather is actually going to be covered up with this piece of leather when I reset this correctly. So I'm actually going to come in from this side of the rivet because if I chew up the leather a little bit, it's not going to show in the final project. So I'm going to bend the leather a little bit in order to get the angle cutters in there. And right now I'm really just trying to get under the cap. And sometimes you can grab your plier and pull the rivet more in the direction that you're planning on accessing the post. Okay, so I was able to kind of lift the cap up a little bit to get my angle cutter in there. So again, just be really careful using this. And I can feel that I'm starting to get access to the post. Okay, so I'm really just trying to get this angle cutter onto the post without chewing up too much of the leather. Okay, so it looks like I'm on there. So I'm going to go ahead and put the cap face towards the down and not look at it when I cut it because it likes to fly off. And there it goes. So the leather didn't get too cut up from that. And then I can go ahead and pull the other side of the rivet out. So we're able to take that one out. And then I'm going to just do a similar thing to the other one, and then I'm going to set this to the back side. Now, if for some reason you ended up cutting too big of a hole into your leather with your angle cutters, you can use a washer or something. And sometimes you have to size up with your rivet head in order to compensate for the larger hole in the leather that was left from cutting the old rivet out. But this looks like it went pretty well, and we'll be able to just use the same size rivet and set this now to the back side.